Assalamu alaikum to you and welcome to Baina Midday News, coming to you live from Atomic Junction, Benab House, Medina. My name is Sherifatu Ayuba. Coming up in the headlines, Dampare is calling on the public to support the police to combat misinformation and disinformation. Government lifts fishing ban and reopens sea to artisanal fleets. And at least 13 people killed in protest over Nigeria's economic crisis. Details of the stories comes up shortly. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget we're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Baina TV. Moving on, a national action plan to combat disinformation and misinformation is being developed ahead of Ghana's 2024 general election. President Akufo-Addo has disclosed the aim, he said, was to curb the spread of false information to enhance the integrity of the electoral processes and consolidate national cohesion, peace and stability. The government was determined to protect the country's reputation as a beacon of democracy in sub-Saharan Africa, as well as the sanctity of state institutions charged with successful conduct of the polls, the president assured while addressing the Ghana Report Summit in Accra.
The summit was on the theme dealing with misinformation and disinformation election 2024. It was designed to further the debate on misleading and deceptive narratives with far-reaching implications for the upcoming elections. A host of top-notch experts, including policymakers, technologists, civil society organizations, security experts, and media professionals, delve into comprehensive strategies to combat the menacing problems associated with information circulation in modern digital ecosystem during heightening period of elections. The summit was held against the backdrop of the explosion of internet connectivity and the proliferation of social media platforms, which serves as conduits for disinformation spreaders, coupled with technological advancements that have provided avenues for disinformating false news, negatively affecting public opinions and judgments. The summit, organized by the Ghana Report, a subsidiary of the IZAR Group, aimed to uncover strategies, identify dangers, and promote best practices for information dissemination, particularly on social media. President Akufo-Addo said the government was taking no chances in protecting Ghana's reputation as a stable and democratic nation. Therefore, all stakeholders were being brought on board to preserve the gains made. He urged the media to adhere to professional standards in the discharge of their duties, reminding journalists that they remain central in shaping public opinion as the nations prepare for this year's elections. Mr. Albert Kandapa, the National Security Minister, said election 2024 will test the resilience of the nation in her democratic journey. Consequently, the security agencies will not compromise on enforcing Ghana's laws to the letter to endanger peace and stability.
Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Dampare, is appealing to the public to support the police when they take action against people peddling disinformation and misinformation. He said the fight against the modern-day canker requires the concerted effort of all stakeholders.
Speaking at a summit organized by the Ghana Report, the IGP said disinformation and misinformation pose a major threat to the security and cohesion of the state, hence the need to tackle it head-on. He said it is concerning when the public that calls for the problem to be addressed ends up fighting law enforcement agencies when they take action against offenses. The IGP is therefore urging everybody to be part of the solution in the fight against disinformation and misinformation, further stressing the time has come for the Ghanaians to have a change of mindset.
And the sponsors, both financial influence and others, of such people. Let's deal with them in two ways. the principle of moral persuasion. Because some of them may not know. They are just being used for the parochial limited interest of an individual, a group, and therefore they just carry along and run with it. Persuasion will help some of them to get out of the trouble, even including some of the sponsors of these activities, when their conscience are pricked to the fact that why do you allow a personal limited interest to override a national interest? Because your personal interest, when it survives and the national interest collapses, you have no interest. And if they fail, through the art of persuasion, work with us to use the full force of the law to deal with them. Because such people, God will be happy for them not to live among us than to be among us and destroy all of us. Then the next leg, which I've always referred to in the 1990s through an advert on newspaper, adverts on TV when we were growing up. They say, water no get leg. It be PVC pipe, they carry on. The manufacturers of this fake news, when it becomes a product, it has no leg to go to the market. We become the PVC pipes that carry it to the level that it becomes spread and it goes viral. So we need to look at ourselves and see that if there is a fake news, disinformation, misinformation, and it is spreading all over the place, we are responsible. So if we are responsible, how do we deal with it? And that brings to the fore the concept of critical thinking. 4 key layers. The first point is that it is noted that sharing is key.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture has reopened the sea to artisanal fishers effective Thursday, August 1st. This follows a month-long closure of the fishing season, a measure taken by the government to restore depleting fish stocks.
A ceremony was held at the Akbalabanya beach site in the Adan West district of the Greater Accra region to symbolically mark the reopening of the sea for artisanal and inshore fleets. The Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, Mavis Hawakumsen, officially declared the sea open and called upon all stakeholders to participate in the conservation of Ghana's marine resources. Addressing the gathering, the minister said the closed fishing season is a strategy adopted by the Ministry and the Fisheries Commission to contribute to the recovery of the overexploited fisheries resources, rebuild the depleted fish species, and reduce fishing pressure on the fisheries resources. She urged the people of Upper Manya in the Adan West to move forward with a renewed sense of dedication to conserving Ghanaians' precious marine resources.
Away from that, the Ministry of Health, the Minister of Health, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, says the Bank of Ghana has not made any payment in relation to the $3.34 million ambulance spare parts deal with Service Ghana Auto Group Limited. The Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, recently accused former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and former Health Minister Kweku Agyeman-Manu for conspiring with Service Ghana Auto Group Limited to swindle the state in the botched deal.
Ablakwa alleged that Ofori-Atta approved the deal just 5 days before leaving office, raising suspicions of inappropriety and questioning the company's ability to deliver, given its recent incorporation. Appearing before the Government Assurances Committee of Parliament on Thursday, August 1st, Dr. Okoboy refuted claims that Service Ghana Auto Group Limited has already been paid $34 million.
because of the public interest, I spoke to one of the deputy governors who have a working relationship when I was at health insurance. And the deputy governor made me aware that this is lodged with them, but not even $1 has been given to the provider. She used some terms, like I said, I'm not a finance person, that it is actually a letter of credit, that it is when the provider has actually performed, supplied parts to certain tunes and supplies the work executed, that they are empowered to pay for the work done. And so the governor made me understand that they have it with them, but they've not paid. Again, the processes, controller to BOG saying we've not paid any amount. All these are trails which as state actors should be willing to give information. I deliberately didn't make my PR team put in this part of BOG not having paid $1, because I believe that they also as an organization, if called upon, should be able to say it for themselves. But I'm saying all this so that those watching know that all actors, once they are in the process, should be armed with relevant documents to show what they've done.
So this $34.9 million contract, do you have a copy? Who signed the contract? Have you seen the contract?
Honorable Chair, all I'll say is that, with all due respect, whatever is required of us, once there are documents or activities that we as a ministry have engaged in, we will make it available.
So can we get a copy of the contract? We want to see a copy of this $34.9 million contract.
Honorable Chair, any document which is a public document executed on our books is for public record. It is only if it is not a record executed within my end that will suffer difficulty. But otherwise, we don't have a problem with it.
Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, the running mate to John Dramani Mahama, the 2024 flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, has assured Ghanaians that the party is ready to restore hope to the country if elected in the forthcoming polls. She emphasized that this is necessary due to the economic decline under the new Patriotic Party government under the leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo. Professor Opoku-Agyeman stated that the next NDC government aims to rejuvenate Ghana through the 24-hour economy policy.
Professor Opoku-Agyeman urged manufacturing companies and traders to prepare for the 24-hour economy policy, which is a key component of the NDC's agenda to rescue and reset the country from the effects of economic mismanagement by the current government. Professor Opoku-Agyeman explained that the 24-hour economy policy would benefit companies through tax waivers, reduced tariff rates, and increased productivity. Additionally, the job shift system under this policy would create more employment opportunities and financial independence for workers and households. Speaking at the Deba of Chiefs at Denkyira Bibianiha in the Upper Denkyira East constituency of Central Region, Professor Opoku-Agyeman urged all organizations to actively participate in the upcoming national 24-hour economy.
On the international front, at least 13 protesters were killed during mass protests in Nigeria against the country's economic crisis that turned violent in several states, a right group said on Friday. Authorities confirmed 4 people killed by a bomb and the arrest of hundreds in the protests that triggered curfews in several states. Amnesty International's Nigeria Director Issa Sanusi said in an interview that it independently verified the deaths that were reported by witnesses, families of the victims, and lawyers.
More than 300 protesters were arrested and curfews imposed in the northern states of Kano and Katsina after the looting of government and public properties. One police officer was also killed and several others injured. The protests were mainly over food shortages and alleged bad governance in the country. Nigeria's public officials, frequently accused of corruption, are among the best paid in Africa. A stark contrast in a country that has some of the world's poorest and hungriest people, despite being one of the continent's top oil producers. Carrying placards, bells and Nigeria's green and white flag, protesters chanted songs as they listed their demands, including the reinstatement of gas and electricity subsidies, whose removal as part of government's audacious reforms to grow the economy has had a knock-on effect on the price of just about everything else.
And in sports, Asante Kotoko has issued a strong warning to persons and the media covering the team's training sessions, both for the senior and junior side, without a formal authority from the club. The Porcupine Warriors have also asked the media not to film anything with regards to the Kings project, which has begun at Adako Jache.
According to the club, any person and media house interested in covering or filming the team's sessions and the progress of the Kings project should make a formal request from the club. Asante Kotoko SC hereby issues a formal warning regarding the unauthorized filming of official training sessions for both the senior and junior men's team, as well as activities under the Kings project, wrote the club on their official website. Asante Kotoko SC categorically demand that all media houses and individuals engaging in this unauthorized activity cease and desist immediately. Any media entities wishing to film the training session of any of Kotoko's main team must submit an official request to the club for prior approval. The club will not hesitate to explore all available legal avenues against any individuals or media entities found in violation of the directive. Meanwhile, the Kumasi-based Giants will host a media day before the start of the season to engage their fans and the public over their preparation and anything with regards to the club. The statement continued. As part of their media engagement strategy, Asante Kotoko will host an official media open day before the commencement of the 2024-2025 football season and periodically throughout the season. These sessions are designed to provide the team esteemed media partners with the necessary access and information. Asante Kotoko SC remains committed to maintaining a respectful and cooperative relationship with the media, and they will continue to work closely with the media to ensure mutual respect and collaboration.
And that is how we bring the bulletin to an end. Log on to our website www.benamultimedia.com for more news. My name is Sherifatu Ayuba. Have a good afternoon.